Today I'm gonna tell you every mistake that Pizza Hut ever made. But to get there, we gotta start at the beginning. 1958 in Wichita, Kansas. Two guys, Frank and Dan Carney, they go to Wichita State University, which is the Wichita Shockers. I want you to see their mascot because it's horrifying. It has nothing to do with this. It's just a horrifying mascot. They take an entrepreneurship class. They're thinking like, hey, I think we should open our own business. Their dad owned a grocery store, so they had sort of lived in the food space. So when they're thinking of opening a business, they think, let's do a restaurant. So they get $600. They borrow that from their mother. Some stories I've read is that this is like college fund for one of their siblings. They were born into a blended family of 12 children. So I don't know if $600 was all they saved for their child's education. Probably. 12's a lot. I got one. One's plenty. 12's a lot. Anyhow, they get that $600. They rent a building. They buy an old oven and they buy some secondhand furniture to put together the bare bones of a restaurant. But what are they gonna make at this restaurant? Well, some stories say that the old lady who rented them the building said, hey, have you heard about this new pizza craze going on in New York City? So they say that's a good idea because pizza isn't really a thing. Like most people haven't had pizza. And why would they open a burger restaurant? McDonald's already exists. KFC already exists. Pizza is this new food in America. Most people haven't had it. Actually, pizza, pretty young food to begin with because even the oldest pizza in Italy is like 1889. That's the margherita pizza. Maybe that was made to look like the Italian flag. Maybe it was made for some queen coming over. A lot of stories about that pizza. And then there's also pictures of people who were making pizza before. Like there's this painting of this guy. He's making pizza. It looks kind of like pizza, but at the same time, this guy's bored. Pizza's not boring. So maybe he's not making pizza. We're way off track. This is not a pizza video. This is a Pizza Hut video. Back to Pizza Hut. They get a sign donated by a Coca-Cola distributor for their building. It's only got space for 8 letters. Pizza takes up 5 letters. Even though one of them is named Dan, they decide that since the building is small, they'll go with Hut. So that is how Pizza Hut was born. Of course, here's the next problem they had. They didn't know how to make pizza. They found a guy named John Bender. They found a guy named John Bender from Indiana who had worked at a pizza place once. They said, hey, teach us how to make pizza. We'll give you a full-time job selling pizza and you can have a third of the business. They didn't know if this business was gonna work. They were just giving it away. But they figure out their pizza recipe, they put it together, and on the first day, they put up this menu of what they have, but they actually open and just give away all the pizza to the people of Wichita, Kansas for free. Beer, pop, milk, and coffee. That's America right there. That is freaking America. You might be saying, wait a minute, who's that mascot? Well, that's Pizza Pete. No further questions. He's pretty irrelevant from here on out, so. Now, I was shocked to learn that the original pizza from Pizza Hut is the thin and crispy pizza. I always assumed it was the hand-tossed. But since it's that, and we live in a time where Pizza Hut still exists, let's get the thin and crispy pizza.
I used to be a Pizza Hut delivery man.
Really?
So I feel it is appropriate for me to give this to you.
Wow, thank you so much. The whole delivery thing is its own story, so that's crazy. We got a man on the inside. Guys, this is, I'm sure there have been changes in the recipe, but this is the original pizza that Pizza Hut built their entire success off of. The original Pizza Hut pizza. So good, but the real treat, that crust, so crispy. If I had never had pizza before and I got a free one of these, my brain would explode.
Like when people heard Rite of Spring for the first time.
Right? When you heard Rite of Spring, when people first heard frickin' the Beatles, they're like, rock and roll, what's that? That's what I'm feeling right here. Hey, you guys want some pizza? Pizza! Okay. There'll be more pizza. I'm witnessing what it looked like in Wichita right now. People are on it like bees on Skittles. Come back over here. Look, this is how fast this pizza's gone. That's what it was like. Truly, that is what it was like. People went nuts for this, so much so that they opened a second location within the same year, and it was carry-out only, but their third had enough space actually for more seating and was a full dine-in restaurant. And that third location became their first franchise location, which means someone else owned it, right? They are franchising these out for $100 a pop, plus a bit of the revenue, right? That's how franchising works. Okay, so they're 10 years in, and that's when they opened their first Canadian store in 1968. So now that they are international, they realize they have so many restaurants out here, but they don't have like a brand identity. You know, McDonald's has the arches and has like the clown, and the KFC's got the Colonel. I mean, think audience, what is Pizza Hut? How do you think, Dana, when you think of Pizza Hut, what do you visualize? Uh-huh. Okay. But what do you visualize? Is there the little hat? That's right, the red roof. So in 1969, that's when they actually start building the red roof restaurants that we recognize, right? That look, because they realize all these Pizza Huts need to look familiar. When people are driving by, they need to know what that building is, and that's a Pizza Hut, and that's where they're gonna go have a delicious dinner. They find a college friend who's an architect who designs this for them, but they can't afford to pay him what he actually costs. So they say, hey, what about for every building we make, you get $100. I don't know what's going on with this $100 thing. They're really stuck on $100. That must have just moved worlds back then. It was $100, I'll give you $100. Sold, good sir. But anyway, he agrees, and this deal does work out to be great for him because they open like 3,000 stores over the next 10 years. So it's worth it. And it's getting so widespread, they realize it's time for them to make their first commercial. Let's watch it. Okay, so this guy, he looks like Clark Kent. He's, for some reason, driving a teeny tiny car. He's driving this teeny tiny car, and he's, because this is the past. Oh, right. Remember in the past, the frame rates didn't work. Yeah, he ran into this guy, so this guy's pissed. So he's chasing him. He's chasing him, and then you see the whole town starts chasing him because he's f***ing with people. He's cutting them off. He's a bad guy. And now they're chasing him through the neighborhood. I presume this is Kansas. He ran over a foot. And he gets to Pizza Hut, and he goes in, he picks up his pizza, he gets in his stupid little car, he drives all the way back. And now all the people that this man wronged, they ate all of his pizza, so he has to order another one and drive there all over again.
I didn't even know they had commercials back.
Yeah, I mean, they did, but they weren't good. So that brings us into the 70s, and they're doing great. They do have some competition that has started in the last decade as well, because Little Caesars opened 1 year after them, and Domino's opened 1 year after that. So there are other pizza players in the world, but Pizza Hut is kind of crushing them. In 1972, they opened their 1,000th store. 1974, 47 company-owned and franchised Pizza Hut are now operating in Mexico, Canada, Costa Rica, Australia, West Germany, and England. And this is when they design the logo. Pizza Hut. The roof has become such a thing, the logo should be the roof. Like how we would think of Olive Garden in the 90s is how people think of Pizza Hut in the 70s, because it's a sit-down restaurant. If we look at this menu, you can see that at some point they have now added the thick and chewy pizza in addition to their thin and crispy pizza. They've got deep dish pastas, deep dish spaghetti, they have salads, they have garlic bread, they have sandwiches. So they have a full menu. So this is a place to go to dine out. It's not just a pizza place. And also, sometimes after this is when they start doing the buffets. That's like the best part of Pizza Hut. To go and have pizza and have an unlimited amount, and you can have salad, which I presume no one in the Midwest was eating. I also found pictures of people in the 70s loving Pizza Hut. I don't have any context with these photos, but they made me smile. So maybe they make you smile too. They look happy, and it's exclusively white people. All right, life is so good, and it gets to be 1977. This is only 5 years after their 1,000th store. They opened their 3,000th store. So PepsiCo says, we'll buy you for $300 million. Now the Carneys have built this enterprise, they've sold it to PepsiCo, and I would just like to take this moment to say, PepsiCo, if you're watching, Try Guys is for sale for $300 million as well. 1979, they invent their first invented pizza. This is a taco pizza.
It's a what? It's a pizza-looking taco tasting pizza. A pizza-looking taco tasting pizza.
And people are like, that's cool. We're into that.
All right.
So they're like, yeah, innovation. That's how we're going to get even bigger. In 1980, they do the world a solid and they invent the pan pizza.
They got new pan pizza at Pizza Hut.
My personal favorite. The pan pizza is so perfect and delicious, so buttery, so amazing.
Come and get it.
And in 1982, they make the hand toss pizza. Yuck. That's my personal opinion. I don't like it. I think it is gross. 1983, This is when the personal pan pizza shows up.
I'll have the personal pan pizza, please, and I don't have a lot of time for lunch.
And you can't talk about the personal pan pizza without talking about the Book It program. And if we're gonna talk about the Book It program, we need to talk about Ronald Reagan. Thank you so much. It doesn't look as glorious as it did, but I do like how these pepperonis are like weirdly stacked, like little snowmen together. Oh God, it smells so good. Personal pan pizza. Oh, yeah. The sweet sauce, the dough, the pepperoni, the cheese, the crunch. It doesn't taste as good as it did when I was 8. I know that the recipe changed over time, so maybe it got worse, or maybe I got worse. So freaking good. Taylor? Jack, you want this? Get over here, boy. Get over here, boy. Well, you didn't really run like you did.
Sorry, I didn't know that this was a sprinting competition.
It's always a sprinting competition. We're entrepreneurs. You gotta fight for your business. It's 84. Ronald Reagan, in his classic self, said, hey, what if the government stopped trying to help public education and instead we got some freaking brands to do it for us? And Pizza Hut says, yeah, we could do that. And Pizza Hut comes up with the Book It program, which is a program that's meant to inspire children to read more books. And when you read a certain amount of books, you prove it to your school gives you a coupon, and Pizza Hut would give you a free personal pan pizza. The way it worked in my school is you had to read a book, and then you had to write down how many pages that book had. Well, do we remember the R.L. Stine Goosebumps series? Of course we do. Do we remember the Choose Your Own Adventure R.L. Stine Goosebumps series? Well, in that, you could read 6 pages, and then your character could die. And technically, I had read the story, but the book had 107 pages in it, didn't it? So I realized I could read 6 pages through a loophole and say that I read a book that was 107 pages. So I was f***ing rolling in free pizzas. My parents were like, wow, Keith, you're reading so much. You're getting so much pizza. I'm like, yeah. And later on, when Clinton was president, he made an official Book It Day. So at least one thing that both political parties can agree on is reading sucks, but we'll do it for pizza. Okay, you're like, Keith, that's enough. You're only talking about all the good things that Pizza Hut did. When did Pizza Hut make a mistake? Well, 1985. And this actually is a mistake that didn't occur in 1985, but affected them in 1985. Because it wasn't until 1985 that Pizza Hut started delivering pizzas. Little Caesars, their entire philosophy was cheap pizza that you picked up. Domino's, however, was a little bit more expensive than Little Caesars, but they would deliver it to you. They even had campaigns of like 30 minutes or less, or you get a free pizza.
Only our pizza is guaranteed to avoid the noise.
Now, not only was this actually getting more pizza out to people faster than Pizza Hut, it was slowly changing the perception of pizza in America's minds. People realized that pizza at home is pretty awesome. It's a great utility food for kids, it's great for the family, and it's actually cheap in general. People don't even know, even as Pizza Hut starts delivering, that people could get delivery from Pizza Hut. When you drive by a Pizza Hut, it doesn't scream, we'll bring pizza to you. It screams, we have stained glass lamps. I don't want to be in there. They realize they need to fix this because they're losing market share in pizza, so they hire 14,000 delivery drivers and they start to have a really conscious effort to deliver pizza. But it's a negative because how much money were they losing by not delivering up until that point, right? They could have been even bigger. In 93, they're delivering pretty well. That's how they've tackled the Domino's side of it. But how are they going to compete with Little Caesars? These are known as the Pizza Wars, by the way. This is a real name for the battle in the 80s and 90s and even 2000s for pizza supremacy. So, Little Caesars. In 1993, they decide to make a big pizza. Now, when you think of Little Caesars, you think of pizza. That's because they had a buy one, get one offer almost all the time. But they do come up with this thing called the Big Cheese.
Little Caesars Big Cheese is bigger. More cheese, more pepperoni, 24 whopping slices.
It is, again, 2 pizzas put in one box, but it's advertised as one gigantic pizza.
Big Cheese is the mother of all pizzas.
People are like, yeah, I want a big pizza. It's the 90s. The economy's incredible. People are wearing neon colors and roller skating and having a blast. And in that same year, Pizza Hut decides they will also make a big pizza. Theirs is called the Bigfoot Pizza.
Bigfoot. From Pizza Hut.
Which actually brings me to their next failure. Pizza Hut decides the best way to market their Bigfoot pizza is by renting a $6 million blimp and putting the Bigfoot logo and the Bigfoot mascot on that blimp. The plan was for this blimp to fly around different cities and people would look up and see the blimp and say, wow, a blimp, I should buy pizza. But then on the 4th of July in 1993, the blimp is flying over New York City.
When a 160-foot blimp crash landed on the roof, the blimp hired to promote a chain of pizza parlors had a huge hole in it, deflated quickly. The pilot and co-pilot are reported in stable condition this morning.
And it lands and crashes into a 7-story building on the west side of Manhattan where 2 people are sunbathing on the roof. This is important only because a news story covers it and they give this guy the lower third of like blimp pilot rescuer, and that's just the funniest thing to see in a news ad. This happens and you think, dang, crashing your $6 million blimp into a building, that's gonna be so much negative publicity, that's gonna be so much lost money. Well, actually, no. Again, this is the 4th of July, a big American day. So for a big American company to run a big American blimp into a big American city, that's a big American story, baby. So the Bigfoot pizza was plastered all over the news that night, and it ended up leading to a year where they sold more pizza than ever before. It was a wildly successful year, all because they crashed a blimp into some people who were sunbathing.
You come to New York, happens these kinds of things.
That's what they tell me.
You never know what's gonna work. 1995, the next year, this is another big win, people. And it comes with a failure. That's right, just around the corner, just you wait. Stuffed crust pizza. It came from Patty Scheibmer, and to celebrate one of the greatest female inventions in the food space, this commercial for the pizza stars a familiar face. Well, why don't we watch this commercial, Keith? Who could possibly be in this commercial for stuffed crust pizza? Well, it's Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump, and he's with his ex-wife, I think, and then he's like, let's eat this crust from behind. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a weird sex joke between Donald Trump and this person. He goes on to make like a divorce joke.
May I have the last slice?
Actually, you're only entitled to half.
Donald Trump, everybody. Thank you so much. So this was a big win, right? Everyone knows about stuffed crust pizza. We love stuffed crust pizza. But the plot here thickens because Patty Scheibmer, who invented the stuffed crust, actually wasn't the first person who invented stuffed crust. The person who first invented it was Anthony Mangiello in 1987. He actually has a patent for stuffed crust pizza 7 years before. Anthony's sitting on the couch. He turns on the TV. He sees Donald Trump advertising his product. He's like, whoa. In 1988, after the patent, they sent this patent and these pitches to all of the major pizza chains to say, hey, I've come up with this. Would you like to license this idea from me? Pizza Hut said, we are interested, but they sent it to their research and development department and they said, we're actually gonna pass. So the family of Anthony Mangiello sues Pizza Hut for $1 billion. And I think the funniest part of this is reading how to make pizza in legalese. Subject A, a method of making pizza comprising the steps of forming a generally flat dough base, forming a plurality of closed pockets, each pocket enclosing a portion of food, and placing the closed pockets on portions of the dough base. Pizza Hut said, aha! Placing the dough is different than what we do. We roll the dough on. And then the family of Anthony Mangiello says, aha, the word on could mean to roll on. On doesn't mean place. On means to move forward, to press. You could press on, right? You could roll on. On means what we mean. They go back and forth. David doesn't beat Goliath in real life. Pizza Hut wins this battle. The Mangiello family gets nothing. It is a win for Pizza Hut, but it's a moral failure, right? Pizza Hut, I think, stole it. And they got away with it. Do we have the stuffed crust pizza? Can we bring it out? Can we bring the stuffed crust pizza out, huh? Can we get the stuffed crust pizza out, huh? I'm all down. Oh yeah, stuffed crust. Look at this. Oh, yeah, and I got it with the sausage. I got it with the sausage, that's right. And let's eat it the Donald Trump way. That was the whole slogan. He's like, you can eat it from the back. I'm not kidding.
They told you to.
I'm not kidding. The 90s didn't have the sexual innuendos we have now. And they were like, you eat it from the back. And nobody thought that was funny. Honestly, we didn't get it. Kaylin's over there smelling the air like a cartoon cat.
Have to be so close to get it.
Yeah. All right, guys, get in here.
I mean, we can just.
Oh, yeah. Take it. You know, it's time we take a little break from learning and just splash around in some fun. So why don't we just take a quick moment to just peruse some funny looking pizzas.
Funny pizza time with Keith.
For some reason, they made one that was like hot dog bites. And if you look at it, it looks like a pizza that a bunch of people have lined their toes up against. It is a horrifying looking pie. We have the Pizza Hut Cone Crust series. You can get yours with cream cheese or chicken and cream cheese. It looks wild. This one's in the Middle East. This next one's the Crown Crust Carnival, the most royal pizza ever. It's got chicken fillet cups on the side or cheeseburger cups. All these pizzas at this time, they look like Shakespearean ruffs around the crust. And then you got the chili cheese stuffed crust in the Philippines. This looks pretty f***ing awesome. Then you have this nightmare in Malaysia, the Black Volcano Pizza. Dare to try? No. It looked like somebody spilled their McDonald's order onto your pizza. And then you see the Pizza Hut shrimp cheese bite crust in Japan and South Korea. Now I know that Japan, South Korea, China, they like their shrimp treats, and I like shrimp too. But having full-on shrimp tails sticking out of the pizza all the way around, this looks crazy to me. I understand there's cultural differences here. Let's get back in the history. In 1994, they actually have a 21% loss in sales. Now, it went right back up once they had the stuffed crust pizza, but they realized they can't just be marketing to people logically, they need to market to people emotionally. So they do two campaigns over the next few years. The first one is literally just showing like grown-up couples liking Pizza Hut. Hey, remember how you used to take your girl to Pizza Hut and have a nice dinner? Do that again. But for the kid route, they actually choose to go a very interesting way.
Now it's time for the Pizza Head Show. Hey, everybody!
This was a weird puppeted pizza show where a slice of pizza had a face on it. His arch nemesis is Steve, the pizza cutter.
And here's your friend Chef Steve to explain.
Oh, hi, Chef. Hey, wait a second, he's not a chef.
And this pizza slice would basically be murdered.
You're not my homie. Woo, that's cold.
And here comes this week's supply.
No, not yet.
You know, I don't know where to put this in a win or a loss, but I think it's worth mentioning because I like it. In the mid-late 90s, they were only getting 10% of their business from dine-in patrons. This is a big problem. Nobody is coming in to eat. It doesn't make sense to have a buffet. It doesn't make sense to have servers. It doesn't make sense to have dishes that you wash, right? And because of that, they start to close down a lot of dine-in locations and they start opening up the Pizza Hut Expresses that are probably more known to you now. You probably only even know the red roof if you see it on the logo, or if you happen to live in a town that has a building that obviously used to be a Pizza Hut and is now something else. In fact, there's an entire subreddit that is delightful to look through that is old Pizza Huts that are now masquerading as other things. The best one is an old Pizza Hut that became a Pizza Hut after not being a Pizza Hut for several years. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. We love that. And then in 1996, there is a really positive turn. They air their first Super Bowl commercial.
So what's in your ultimate? Wait, was that Gronk?
I got meat lovers and double pepperoni.
And as a result, their pizzas account for 30% of all the delivery pizzas in America that night. So this is like really big. Things are going well. They also go on to start putting chicken on pizza.
Chicken pizza?
Sure, we know it sounds scary.
That's a divisive thing. And they also in that year make the triple deckeroni pizza.
Your triple deckeroni pizza? Baby.
Which I only want to call out because it's actually a double-decker pizza, but they call it a triple-decker.
Two crust, one hellacious taste.
I think that's rude. In 1997, they make the Edge pizza, which is like a thin crust pizza where the toppings go all the way to the edge.
Crust is your safety net. The Edge has no outer crust.
Some people say this is exactly the same pizza as the Chicago tavern style pizza they have right now, but either way, I love it. But my point in all this is in the 80s and 90s, they're making up and inventing pizzas. And that really works for people. But in 1998, they again are losing a little bit of market share. But it's not to Domino's, and it's not to Little Caesars. It's to a new player in the space. It's to Papa John's. Papa John's didn't open until 1984, but they opened with delivery. So they actually started delivering kind of at the same time as Pizza Hut. They're growing in parallel, and what's happened actually in the late 90s is every time Pizza Hut has lost a percentage of the market share of pizza, Papa John's has gained one. Probably because the better ingredients, better pizza slogan makes it feel better quality than Domino's, but it actually still is cheaper than Pizza Hut. So it's eating away at the Pizza Hut. And this is all to introduce the most wild headline I read in all of the headlines I read, which was, "This ain't no pizza party. Pizza Hut and Papa John's are engaged in a Kentucky blood feud. At stake, the future of pizza pies." This story really just talks about how the head of Pizza Hut's corporate and the head of Papa John's live in the same suburb of the same area in Kentucky. There's rumors where one of them is trying to pay off the pastor of the other guy's church to kick him out of the church. They're just f***ing with each other. And why do they both live there? No idea why this part of outside of Louisville has two people who own some of the biggest pizza franchises in the world. They send all of their franchises punching bag toys that say, "Sock it to Papa John's." They do hate Papa John's. There, I said it. 1998, Pizza Hut celebrates its 40th anniversary and launches the Sicilian Pizza, a flavorful crust with garlic, basil, and oregano baked right in the crust.
Sir, you can't handle the Sicilian.
1999, Pizza Hut launches the Big New Yorker Pizza. This is a big one, people, and we got the Big New Yorker, right? Let's bring it in, the Big New Yorker, people! It's a New York.
Deliver a pizza.
Hey, the motherfucking New Yorker over here! When they launched this in 1999, it is very, very popular. People love it. Who do they get to star in their commercial to promote the Big New Yorker? Well, let's take a look. You got it right, Jack. It's the one, the only, and Donald Trump.
Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump. We're all cut from the same cloth, and that cloth is very, very large.
This guy's the same f***ing guy. This guy's supposed to be selling us pizza. In the 90s, if Donald Trump was only doing this, I f***ing love the guy. But he's not, is he? Let's try the Big New Yorker. Look up. Man, I remember getting this in 1999 and not liking it. I only loved the pan pizza back then. And the thin and crispy. It does have a different sauce. A lot of herb flavor. I like the Parmesan on top. All right, pizza's on. Anybody? I didn't make it, Desiree. If it's better than the last one, I was like, I didn't make it.
I don't care for all the herbs on top.
You don't care for the herbs.
It is too much.
The office doesn't like it, so maybe pizza was right. But
with oregano. That was a crazy. Sorry, that was a crazy. I didn't think about it. I was talking about the oregano. Oh my goodness.
I didn't see it. So they launched the Big New Yorker. But they take it away. People were so heartbroken, they made social media posts, Reddit threads, a change.org petition, and it was finally brought back, but not till 2023, and even then it was only for a limited time. So imagine you made something that's someone's favorite thing, and then they don't get it for 24 years. 25. Some of them probably died. Some of Pizza Hut's biggest fans, honestly, a lot of them probably died. We had some rough years. In July 2000, Pizza Hut becomes the first company in history to place its logo on the world's largest Proton rocket. Luckily, this airship did not crash into any place. They made also some weird insider pizza that I vaguely remember, which is like a pizza on top of a pizza with like cheese in the middle. Think of like the double-decker taco from Taco Bell. What if that was pizza? In 2001, Pizza Hut delivers pizza to space. Really fun failure moment coming up here. So Papa John's, they're growing all this time. Sort of were threatening Pizza Hut in that mid-1990s, right? Remember that Dan and Frank Carney were the people who first made Pizza Hut and they sold Pizza Hut? Well, Frank, he had made all this money. I guess $100 million, right? He owned a third of the business with the other two guys. He invests all this money in other businesses, but unfortunately none of them work. And he kind of loses all of his money. He's broke. And a former Pizza Hut chairman offers him the ability to be a franchise owner of Papa John's.
I found a better pizza.
This guy knows how to scale and franchise pizza restaurants. And in the next 5 years, he goes from owning 1 or 2 to 133.
Better ingredients, better pizza.
He's got it.
You could actually sort of put together that part of Papa John's growth and eating into the market share of pizza is actually due to their previous owner and creator directly competing against them now. In 2003, they launch Wing Street, due to the rising popularity of chicken wings. Yeah, look at that. And I don't think they had these at that time. These are these Cajun dusted boneless wings. These are just slam dunk good. I just put them in this video because I want you to know these are delicious. 2004, they created the Pizza Hut Italian Bistro. It's sort of like a Pizza Hut, but with an expanded menu. At this point, they are actually, I think, trying to make Pizza Hut Olive Garden. But one of these is the ugliest building I've ever seen. And it has the Pizza Hut shaped roof, but it's gray shingles. It kind of looks like an old fish restaurant. It looks bad. And I bet you think probably you've never been to a Pizza Hut Italian Bistro. You know why? They didn't work out. In fact, you gotta take the whole thing. Come on. Something I actually left out earlier is in 1994, they were the first people to have pizza that you could order over the internet. It's actually the first food you could order over the internet. In 2007, they are the first national pizza chain on Facebook. Facebook was cool in 2007, so that's a win for them, I think. In 2008, Zach, do you remember the Tuscany pasta hidden camera commercial for Pizza Hut?
Oh, yes. This is the greatest campaign of all time.
It's the best campaign. It is.
You're screaming.
I'm so fucking excited. They bring a bunch of people to a place called Tuscany, and they have all these people being like, wow, this is delicious, it's amazing. And then they come out and say, what if we told you all this pasta was from Pizza Hut? And you can kind of see some of the people are like, wow, that's amazing. And some of the people are like, ew, what?
Her reaction was so good.
It is a great ad for these pastas that I don't think ultimately were very successful for them. But damn, that was a good commercial.
I keep getting served.
I know, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. What's going on with that?
Like
it's so scary.
It's the most...
Does anyone else get this thumbnail?
I get this thumbnail. What?
Oh. Oh, what a night.
Have you seen videos of Frankie Valli performing now?
No.
He looks like an animal.
We got to get back into Pizza Hut. I appreciate it, and thanks for coming out. I knew you loved that commercial. So I thought I'd like your joy for a minute. In 2009, Pizza Hut launches an app and appears in an iPhone commercial. This could be big for their delivery game, but pop quiz to the office. What happened in 2009? Recession. It was a recession. So nobody bought a damn thing. In fact, all of the pizza chains suffered, and people were just making frozen pizza at home if they wanted pizza. In 2010, they go back to the old school stuff, making weird pizzas. They make the Big Italy pizza. It's a big 2-foot long pizza, kind of like the Bigfoot, but more Italiano because it's a Big Italy pizza. It's not a popular item, but there's a win that happens in this moment. And this is me coming up with what I think actually happened. I have no proof for this, but I think what happened is this Big Italy pizza had this big stupid box. And at some point, somebody ordered a normal pizza and wanted like breadsticks and wings. And some person working at one of the Pizza Huts was like, just put them all in the big stupid box together. Because the next year was when Pizza Hut launched the Big Dinner Box, using a box that is roughly the same size as the Big Italy pizza from the year before. Pizza Hut Corporate heard about it and it's like, yeah, let's reverse engineer our food to fit in this box. Bring the Big Dinner Box in! Bring the Big Dinner Box in! Holy f***. Are you f***ing me right now? Look at this thing. It doesn't even fit on screen. You can get whatever you want in these things. But this is such a fun way to get pizza. Pizza is fun. If you lose the fun of pizza, why even having pizza? When you win a soccer tournament, you have pizza. When you lose a soccer tournament, you have pizza. When you finally convince yourself to read a goddamn book, you get to have pizza. Pizza's fun. Oh, you know what I love? Cheese breadsticks. You guys ever have cheese breadsticks? Motherfucking so good. Why do they cut like this? Why do they cut them like that? The cheese breadstick. What is it about Pizza Hut sauce when it's not hot that is so much more delicious? Anybody want some? You guys full?
I must.
You gotta have a cheese breadstick, Jack.
Wait, how's it do?
Yeah, right? You have to look at the back. These are just normal breadsticks, but I want you to see the way they look and how these, you have to show the back of it even to even understand this. The slicing, what's going on? What the f is going, no brand consistency. That takes us to 2012. They're going after Subway and they're going after Jimmy John's and Jersey Mike's that are growing in popularity this time. And they come up with just a horrible looking item, the Pozzolo. This thing looks terrible. Is it a calzone? Is it a sandwich? It appears the toppings are baked inside of the baguette itself. I would never say, oh, let me go to Pizza Hut to try a sandwich. Why would I go and do that? 2013, they come out with pizza sliders. These look like f***ing terrible. This looks like they're competing against the frozen pizza market. And they finally, though, give America one of these weird cup crusts. This looks so stupid. It's the crazy cheesy crust. And in 2013, they launched an exclusive Xbox 360 app where you can order pizza on the console. I think that is a win. That makes perfect sense to me. We're near the home stretch. From this point on, Pizza Hut does not do well. So before we get into that, let's just look at some ugly pizzas again.
Funny pizza time with Keith.
This one's in Singapore. It's the double sensation pizza.
Looks like the eyeball of a demon.
It looks horrible. Then we have the meat pie crust pizza. This is Australia. Seems like they kind of like go into another country and either give them something hyper American around the crust or hyper that country around the crust. I think they have a poutine pizza for Canada. The thing is, they made so many of these internationally that they must work. Like, people must love these. Let's move on. It's time to get into the sad spiral of Pizza Hut. In 2014, they tried to revamp their menu to be healthier, to be more artisan. We used to be a fancy place. How could we be that again? But people don't want that. When you want artisanal pizza, you're gonna go to a local pizza place. When you want Pizza Hut is when you get Pizza Hut. And I don't want Pizza Hut to change. I want it to be Pizza Hut. So rather than attracting new people, it actually turns away old people. And for the next 10 years, they plateau. It's by no means bad, right? They're making $12 billion a year. But it's $12 billion for 2014, 2015, $12 billion, 2016, $12 billion, 2017, $12 billion, 2018, $12 billion. When you're a giant franchise with lots of investors, if you're not growing, you're dying. And it takes until 2017 for them to have a loyalty program. Domino's did this 2 years before. They're just behind in the tech. Their app sucks. In 2008, Domino's made the pizza tracker for their delivery. That was thrilling. Also, Domino's did a great job in the late aughts, just being like, hey, our pizza sucks, we're gonna make it better. And I think that honesty was something we never heard from a brand. So I think a lot of people in that late aughts to now have really turned to Domino's. And if you look at their market share, that's true. Technically, Domino's is absolutely outpizzing the Hut. In 2018, they did a $5 lineup.
The power of the $5 bill.
So they're offering really, really cheap offerings. That's sort of Little Caesars thing.
It's not that big a deal.
In 2019, they do the worst thing they ever could have done, and they changed the recipe for the pan pizza. This was the pizza people loved the most. The thing that they got our generation to fall in love with. You can't do that to us. It's so weird because at the same time they opened up Pizza Hut classics. So why would you change something nostalgic at the same time that you're bringing back something nostalgic? That doesn't make any sense. In 2020, they launched plant-based meats and they think this is going to be a huge success, and it is the worst year of their career. They lost $1 billion in sales. 2021, they make a Detroit style pizza. This is absolutely them now targeting Little Caesars. And then the next few years, Pizza Hut just looks like it's going through a bad breakup. They make these things that are called melts. They look like loose calzones. They look horrible. 2023, they make a cheesesteak pizza, but it just looks like their pizza and they put a different meat on it. That's not innovative, that's not new. And in 2024, they make a cheeseburger pizza. That's not innovative, that's not new. Pizza Hut was fine dining. Pizza Hut was innovative. Pizza Hut was family oriented and nostalgic and about creating a relationship with their customers, and they just didn't do any of that in the last decade. Pizza Hut is currently on a grassroots boycott list. In 2017, the Israeli Pizza Hut Twitter made and shared an ad that was a photoshopped image of an imprisoned Palestinian breaking their hunger strike to have Pizza Hut. They did apologize for the ad, they got rid of the ad, they fired the PR firm that made it, but still. Then in 2024, the Israeli Instagram account shared a bunch of stories of IDF soldiers holding stacks of presumably donated Pizza Hut pizzas. I don't think Pizza Hut America has a say in what franchises do in that sort of regard. However, They've been on a boycott list for 2 years and they haven't said anything about it. I think that's a failure. So Pizza Hut is not on the official BDS boycott list, but it understandably has left a lot of people upset. I do see the irony in showing Pizza Hut pizza in this video. Please do not take any of that as an endorsement. We're getting to the end of the video, and the assessment I'm making is that they sort of have lost who they are. And their main sort of attack is at Little Caesars right now, which makes me think back to everything that's happened so far and makes me realize that Pizza Hut is a bully. They've only ever competed against the littlest guy. They stole an idea, I think, from a guy who made stuffed crust, and they beat him in court. Whoa! When Papa John's was growing, they specifically fought against Papa John's.
Want a better pizza?
And now that Little Caesars is the least market share, they're specifically fighting against Little Caesars. You're Pizza Hut. You're the innovative king. You taught people to read. You helped Ronald Reagan. You boosted Donald Trump. Look at what you've done, Pizza Hut. I hope they can bounce back because I do like Pizza Hut, even though I think they're a bully. I do want to acknowledge they are the reason that pizza is what it is in America today. I really think so. They changed the space. They were literally two brothers who grew and did the American dream. Like, they started a business and had great success. And thanks for watching this video. Let me know what other fast food history you'd like me to deep dive. What'd you think? How'd you like it? I love fast food history. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Are you done with that ranch?
Yeah, you can have it.
Thank you.
Yeah.